All right, guys, good morning. Welcome back to Wingman Wednesday. I'm Seven Mitchell with the Best of Seven Sports Talk, and a big shout out to the NBA community, man. I'm brand new to the Twitter Spaces world, but I plan on being here. So big up to everyone, man. We're going to just be chopping it up real brief every morning just to give you guys the latest news and updates just in case you guys are out of the loop. And of course, I have to have maybe just one or two topics that I want to break down. People are welcome to join me throughout the Twitter spaces. But this morning on Wingman Wednesday, I got to talk to the bosses about Ime Udoka and the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics and Steve Nash. What a roller coaster. The Brooklyn Nets took over the NBA yesterday. So I want to talk about that most definitely. But first, last night in the association, we did have a few games that went down. Speaking of the Brooklyn Nets, Zach LaVine dropped 20 of his 29 points in the fourth quarter. He led the Chicago Bulls last night to a 108-99 win over these Brooklyn Nets. This is the first game after the firing of Coach Nash. So Brooklyn is now 2-6 on the year. In other games last night, the Miami Heat knocked off the Golden State Warriors 116 to 109. The OKC Thunder triumphed over the Orlando Magic last night as well, 116 to 108. And the Phoenix Suns, they keeping it pushing. They knocked off the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, 116 to 107. Phoenix now on the season is 6-1. They've won their fifth straight game. They knocked off Minnesota last night. Cam Johnson had 29 points, making 7 threes. So the Suns are definitely lit. Those were the games from last night. But let's talk about really what happened earlier in the day. So I woke up to the news that Steve Nash and Brooklyn had mutually decided to part ways, which I'm so good with because I've been telling y'all he was definitely not the right fit for this team. I'm not going to front on him as a coach as another opportunity, but this particular situation, some feel like it was ideal because it was superstars that he got linked up with KD and Kyrie, but this could really been a nightmare. But he was parted ways with, not surprising to me. But then Brooklyn reportedly is targeting Ime Udoka. And that's what kind of knocked me out my chair, y'all, because I, first of all, didn't know Ime was fired from Boston. I thought he was just suspended. So I'm like, how the hell are we even having a conversation or a discussion about Ime Udoka joining the Brooklyn Nets as a head coach? Then I go further into the reports, and it showed that Boston gave Brooklyn permission. What? I really got to talk to the bosses. The Celtics gave the Brooklyn Nets permission to speak to Ime Udoka and are willing to cut ties freely. Nothing in return. Willing to give him away to a rival competitor in the East. Bro, I just sat here and I was just shell shocked. First of all, why would Boston now be so willing to give Ime away to Brooklyn for nothing when it seemed like the reason why they suspended him before instead of firing him initially was so that Brooklyn couldn't pick him up at the beginning of the year. So what, we're 7 games into the season? What has really changed? And then you're not wanting anything in return. Wow. So I'm wondering, like, does Boston know or have more things coming out against Ime that may look better for them once he's in another team? Because all the things still would have happened in Boston for the most part. So I don't really know the angle of the Celtics when it came to this move, but I like it. I like it. I'm not even going to lie. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Coach Udoka, you talk about redemption. You talk about bad guys. What? That will definitely put the Eastern Conference on notice if they are able to pull this deal off. Now, I'm not talking about regular season standings because you're dealing with chemistry, you're dealing with injuries, all that stuff. So I'm not saying that this move is going to automatically put Brooklyn at the top of the standings in the East. But if these guys stick together with the points that they need to prove individually, KD, Kyrie, and Udoka, that's going to be the most dangerous trio to have to deal with in the postseason. You better believe it. Now, what happens if Udoka is not able to turn this thing around early in Brooklyn? Will Kevin Durant still demand a trade, y'all? I don't know if the book is closed on this KD out of Brooklyn story. Udoka, I think, brings an element that would want KD to stick around and try to make it work, but if and only if you can see changes made. If we get to around Christmas time and Brooklyn hasn't turned around or are playing at least 500 type of basketball, who knows what these guys are going to be asking for before the All-Star break. We already see Joe Tsai don't really, and that's the thing. Joe Tsai seems to be so stand-up-ish. I'm surprised he even wants to have Udoka on his team with all the baggage that Ime is bringing to the table. This story from Brooklyn to Boston is just unreal. So many underlying narratives and storylines, man. It's real interesting, you know what I'm saying? But I think if they get it done, Brooklyn, excuse me, when it comes to playoffs, are going to be so dangerous. So dangerous. I don't know if this deal is going to get done. I don't know. But it's interesting. We're going to keep a close eye on the situation with Coach Udoka and the Brooklyn Nets. I did see that Steve Nash, he had actually wrote a thank you letter to the Brooklyn community, said a very heartfelt thanks to Joe and Sierra Tsai along with Sean Marks for giving me the opportunity to coach the Brooklyn Nets. It was an amazing experience with many challenges that I'm incredibly grateful for. It was a pleasure to work with the players, performance teams, and front office every day. I'm especially grateful to my coaching staff and video room, who are a talented group with so much character and professionalism. Now, in this statement, he did not mention Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving's name, which is cool. Will Steve Nash get another coaching job in the NBA? We'll have to stick around to find out. Before we get up out of here, man, on Wingman Wednesday, just wanted to go over some other news that is possibly happening in the NBA. It looks like MRI on Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox, excuse me. His right knee showed a bone bruise, no structural damage. Fox will miss he missed tonight's game versus Miami, it looks like. And his return is going to be based upon the resolution of his symptoms, but hopefully more sooner than later. This is coming from Sham. And the NBA MVP award tracker. So far, we got Giannis at number 1, Luka number 2, Donovan Mitchell at number 3, Damian Lillard number 4, and coming in at number 5 right now on the MVP award tracker is Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns. So there you have it on Wingman Wednesday, people. I'm Seven Mitchell with the Best of Seven Sports Talk. Again, this was my very first Twitter Spaces. I'm new to the world of Twitter Spaces, but I'm here now, and I will be at you guys every morning with a brief update of everything that's going around in the National Basketball Association. And of course, I got to talk my talk about a topic or two. So you guys are definitely welcome to join me on any types of panels and conversations here in the spaces. But y'all already know what this is. You are now rocking with the best. This is the Best of Seven Sports Talk. I am Seven Mitchell. Salute to the NBA community. Y'all have a great Wingman Wednesday. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, man. I want to thank you guys for listening into another episode of the Best of Seven Sports Talk. I'm Seven Mitchell, man. Make sure you follow the show to be sure to be notified about the next episode. Also, I'll put the Linktree link in the description so you can follow us on social media as well as donate and contribute to our platform. See you guys again on the next episode. Peace.